Rick Grinnell's joining us right now, and Will, we got to discuss this. This comes off of the heels of MSNBC. You know, I guess you can't even hire a punching bag anymore if you are on the left. You can't even hire someone on the other side to essentially say the things you know that will fire up your viewers, because that, just to have someone on the other side, that's just unacceptable. This comes from Chuck Todd, who, by the way, is one of the ones that pretends to not have that bias. Right. One of the ones doing, meet the press, trying to be the straight newsman that's always, giving it to you, giving you the facts and not giving his opinions. Let's hear from Chuck Todd.
Look, let me deal with the elephant in the room.
Yeah.
I think our bosses owe you an apology for putting you in this situation, because I don't know what to believe. She is now a paid contributor by NBC News. So I have no idea whether any answer she gave to you was because she didn't want to mess up her contract. She wants us to believe that she was speaking for the RNC when the RNC was paying for her. She has credibility issues that she still has to deal with. Yeah. Is she speaking for herself, or is she speaking on behalf of who's paying her?
They are talking about the hiring of former RNC chair Ronna McDaniel, and that is McDaniel. Yeah, I got it right the first time.
You did.
Got it right the first time. Ronna McDaniel, who, by the way, hasn't necessarily been the favorite of a lot of people for quite some time. But that's even just the concept of having a Republican to look at, Rick, just too far.
Look, I've watched NBC and MSNBC for a couple of hours pretty much every week. I try to look and see what they're saying. They don't have dissenting voices on. To go on, even if you're a Republican that goes on, you have to hate Trump and you have to say that Joe Biden is the better choice. So there's no dissent. There's no debate. Everybody agrees. And so I think Comcast, which owns NBC and owns MSNBC, has a real problem. If our viewers are paying Comcast in any way, they need to really question whether or not the Comcast news outlets, which won't allow conservative debate, conservative voices to have a debate, whether or not that's a good thing. I actually think it's part of the problem of journalism is that we can't have a debate. When I was growing up, my dad would say, shut up and listen, and you might learn something. And so I would sit at the dinner table and hear different viewpoints and then think about, what does that mean to me, and how do I respond? But there wasn't an idea that you wouldn't have a debate. And not having a debate is the Comcast way right now.
Rick, I think my favorite part of this story is the outrage that we see from Chuck Todd, and where he says he doesn't know if she was speaking for the RNC or if she was speaking for now on behalf of NBC, because she don't want to mess up her contract, as if that is the end all be all, that they couldn't apply that standard to every single person on NBC staff, specifically Jen Psaki, who has a show on MSNBC called Inside with Jen Psaki. I don't know how many people watch it, but it's there if you want to check it out. But she was, right before that job, President Biden's White House spokesperson. So where was the outrage when they hired her from Chuck Todd saying, well, I believe she was speaking for Biden when she was the White House spokesperson, but now is she just going to say what now NBC wants to hear, which we know the obvious hypocrisy of it. But where is that outrage from Chuck Todd?
I mean, look, Will, your problem is that you're full of common sense. And that's not what news outlets in Washington, legacy media, are filled with these days. They are very comfortable with their hypocrisy. They're very comfortable with crushing dissent. And that's why they don't call out the Department of Justice going after Donald Trump, or trying to kick him off ballots, or trying to silence, crush, prosecute, and put him in jail. NBC is wildly supportive of that because they believe that the Democrats and the regime should be able to, win and have this elite club without even thinking about middle America, common sense, conservative voices. They just want to crush dissent.
It is a wild time. You'd think even historically there would be at least a veil of, we have all these other people. CNN's always had a random conservative, has always had a person on the other side, even if you knew that person was there and getting paid to be the punching bag, as I said. It's also just an odd time. Like I said, you can't hire someone, and you also are making your audience, you're treating them as if they are unintelligent, in the sense of saying, oh, this person was a spokesperson. Yeah, that was their job. Rick, you've been that. A lot of us have been that. Most people that work at a job understand that when they're representing their employer, they have to stick to the point of view of the employer. But to be like, we don't know, because she could have been lying to us because she was the spokesperson for the RNC.
The chairwoman
What
of
if
the
she?
RNC, right?
What if she disagreed with the? That's part of the job. That's just societal work. That's just work in America. That's not some sort of conspiracy. And that's where it's just mind blowing. It's not just the fact that this is television journalism. This is making the American people out to be idiots. And not to be able to understand that there was a job of a spokesperson that was to, or a chair or a head to speak the platform of the organization.
I think this is a huge problem for Comcast. Comcast does not want to be in the position of saying that they only have customers on the left. They have a lot of customers on the right, and yet they own two outlets that literally are unwelcoming to conservative voices, to conservative viewpoints. They won't even have a debate about the issues. If you watch NBC and MSNBC, it is literally everyone agreeing, every single segment, every single hour. And Comcast owns this. Disney owns the ABC problems. And so I think that we have to understand that we have some power. Are you going to pay Comcast knowing that their news outlets are outlets that are hostile towards your viewpoint? I'm not.
Rick, thanks for joining us today. I did want to take this time to let you know that we are in that last few days of our Life and Liberty drive, and we could really use your support. We are only a few days away from the end. We are trying to hit that stretch goal of an extra 500 new ACLJ champions, and we're under 160 away. So you can be a part of that right now, aclj.org. Do that. And we are in those final 4 days of the Life and Liberty Drive. If you are able to, please become an ACLJ champion. That's a monthly supporter. Do that right now. Help us hit that stretch goal. Become an ACLJ champion to fight alongside us and each and every month. It's real easy opt-in. You can do that. But hey, if you can't do that or you don't feel comfortable with that, I totally understand. If you can make a donation of any kind, you can do that right now during this fundraising drive. All you have to do is go there, make a one-time single donation. Guess what? All those donations are doubled right now. All those donations are double. There's another person, another ACLJ member or an ACLJ champion ready to match those funds that come in from you. So again, all of them effectively do double the amount of work.